Yeah, baby. We're in. Here we are once again.
Yeah, man. So you got
16 weeks, dude.
16.
Episode 16. We're in.
16. Very nice.
Let's go. 16, baby. We made it.
Let's go.
I say that every week. We made it.
Let's jump. Hey, let's jump straight into it. Let's kill some dead space and let's just go. So, what do you think of LeBron James being the Michael Jordan part in Space Jam Part 2?
Man, it's so funny. I'm glad you bring this up. I just introduced Victor to Space Jam. I actually just introduced him to basketball in general because he's been getting really into basketball lately. He's got the Fisher-Price, hoop out back, adjustable height, that whole thing.
Yeah.
Super into it because I've been watching the ESPN documentary every week, The Last Dance. Mm-hmm. And he's been watching it with me. And he's very interested in Michael and in basketball in general. And, just like I was when I was his age, man. So very cool. So we watched Space Jam recently. He loves Space Jam.
But to add context to what you're about to say, not to cut you off, but to add context, let's see who Matt is. Who's your favorite basketball player?
Oh, Michael Jordan.
Who's the
of all time?
Who's the best basketball player?
Playing now or of all time?
Period.
Oh, Michael. MJ.
Okay, continue.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Big MJ fan. He was the ultimate alpha apex competitor, dude. Would do anything to win. Incredible scorer. Later in his career, an incredible teammate. But anyway, yeah, I'm Team MJ, dude, big time. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we watched Space Jam, and I remember how fun that movie was. It's a fun movie, dude. It's got a fun soundtrack.
Right.
And, but anyway, yeah, LeBron doing Space Jam too. I'm not really a big LeBron fan. I'm not really a nowadays younger athlete fan.
Why?
I think, to me, LeBron has always just seemed a little, what's the word? I don't want to say cocky, but he just seems full of himself, dude. When you dub yourself the king, and you got these big pregame rituals, and every time you dunk the ball, you look in the camera and flex. And to me, it's just a show, dude. And you're being very boastful, and I'm not into that. I've never been into him. And that's how a lot of these players are these days. That's why I kind of fell off the NBA bandwagon, and I've been a big NFL guy for the last probably about 10 years. Because I used to watch the NBA exclusively. That's the only sport I used to watch. But I don't know. I just kind of started to see that kind of mentality with today's players, and I just slowly kind of tapered off, and I've been an NFL guy ever since. But he's an incredible ball player, that's for sure. He's definitely got a personality on him. I think he'll do a great job. If they, hopefully it's written well and it's fun and funny. I'm sure it will be. So I'm definitely going to check it out for sure. But I'm just not that big of a LeBron James fan.
Oh, I like him. I think I don't necessarily agree. Yes, he's cocky, but I don't necessarily agree with kind of like this is not a new thing. We've always had players that are cocky, as he was, and even more cocky than LeBron James. I think that the whole king thing, to me, that's a bit much, but that's part of the theatrics, and that's definitely a lot more prevalent now with social media. People feel like they have to be a celebrity. Kind of more so.
You have to have a brand. You got to have a brand.
Yeah. It used to be like a big thing, like you would have the shoe and that's it. But now you've got to be like a whole social media personality as well as an athlete. So that part, that part is a little disheartening. But I flipped on things because, as you know, I don't keep up with football like barely at all these days. But I still like basketball a lot. In middle school, like football was my thing. Like I used to keep up with football all the time, and now it's like. Baseball is my number one sport, and I keep up with basketball, and then football very loosely. But I'm excited. I like Space Jam a lot. I like it. I think they'll do good. I'm interested to see how they do it in a modern age, because that movie even today holds up very well. The original holds up incredibly well.
Oh, dude, the animation and how they they put all the the real actors, and can we just shout out to Bill Murray being in the film? Are you kidding me? Like, dude, we got to have Bill Murray back. I really hope Bill Murray's coming back.
Yeah, I don't know. But
yeah, dude, it's a testament to the animation, dude. It still looks beautiful. It's a really good looking movie. So yeah, I'm excited for it, man. I mean, when is that dropping? That's been in production hell for ever.
It's been rumored forever, and today they're finally revealing the logo. And the thing is, I haven't seen LeBron posted his little video on Instagram with a branded hat that looked official, and he's just grinning into the camera. But there's no official, hey, this is actually coming out and when. it's just been like the urban legend for the longest. It's like everybody pretty much agrees it's gonna happen, but there's nothing really been set in stone. So it looks like we're about to hear news like in the next few days about something.
It'd be dope to get MJ in there somehow into the canon of the second movie.
I get the feeling that they don't really like each other. Like I get the feeling that they got like a clash of egos there, and maybe not.
I would probably agree with that. And they're always in the spotlight for the GOAT conversation. It's like it feels like especially now with no sports on, it's like, and the whole ESPN documentary on the 97-98 Bulls. It's like every day we're hearing, who is it? Is it LeBron? Is it Kobe? Or is it MJ?
I think it's crazy that the two best players are wearing the same number, like generations apart.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy,
that's
man.
Wild.
Man, we've talked about it before. There was, when Kobe passed away, we watched that video of, how Kobe really modeled his game after Michael.
Mm-hmm.
And, they were like, cross-fading between the two players, doing like fadeaway jumpers and like crossovers and stuff.
Yeah.
And, man, I was watching some Kobe highlights a couple nights ago. And he definitely emulated his game after MJ, but he wasn't a carbon copy. He definitely had his own style and his own flair to doing things. But anyway, yeah, I mean, LeBron, dude, nothing to take away from LeBron. The dude is a freak athlete. He could play tight end in the NFL. He could have been a tight end in the NFL. And he could have had a successful NFL career. I mean, he's just a freak athlete, dude. I mean, he's so big and so powerful and elusive and quick. And, and it's another thing to compare athletes of different generations. It's a tough thing to do because, and
the rules are way different
the NBA
now.
Specifically.
They're way
the rules
different.
are very different. I mean, dude, just talking about, you're an NBA guy, so it's like, dude, and this is a play for Team LeBron. It's like, well, look, back when Michael was playing, you couldn't play zone defense. It was illegal. There was no zone defense. You had to stay with your man. You could come out and you can set a pick, but then you had to go immediately back. I can't remember the seconds or how many, but there was no zone.
Right.
It was illegal. In today's game, it's all zone defense, and it's much more difficult to be successful in today's NBA. I think in terms of just defensive scheme. So it's like let's take LeBron and we pluck him and we put him back into the mid 90s. How would he do? It's hard to say. And it's the same thing with MJ. And people talking about MJ be scoring 50, 60 points a night in today's game. It's fun to think that way, and I'm a huge Michael fan, but there's no way of knowing. Things are so different, and athletes in general these days are just a different breed. Right. And it's always been that way. The human experience, we're getting bigger, we're getting faster, we're living longer. So it's hard to say. Two different generations, man. But
yeah, I mean, right
excited
now,
for Space Jam, dude. That'll be cool.
One thing that's interesting with them is that Michael still being, like, to me, the greatest player also and my favorite also. But he definitely had a decline, especially when he came back. His performance declined.
Oh, yeah.
Where LeBron,
no, I don't even
LeBron
consider his time with Washington.
But LeBron's a freak in that this guy gets older, his career gets longer, and he still gets better. He breaks his own records and continues to get better. Like, what is this guy doing? Like, it's incredible. It's incredible to see that, like, you would expect this guy to be falling apart at this stage in his career, and he's still breaking records. Like, it's crazy to me.
Yeah, he's a monster, dude. The hairline, though, the hairline's getting worse.
Well, yeah, that's he won't admit it.
No, he won't. But no, that's a good point, man. Yeah, he's had no time away from the game, and I mean, how long has LeBron been in the league? Almost coming up on 20 years, right?
I feel like it, and the
it's like 16 or 17 or something like that.
Yeah, and the underground, like,
let's ask Siri. Ready? Let's see what Siri has to say. Ready? Hold on. Let's see. Oh, it's not going to let me since I have my bows on. That's okay.
Yeah. Well, the underlying thing that people would, like, want to see is LeBron play with his son in the NBA and then get out. Like, to just see that, like, it'd just be crazy to see, like, a father-son duo in the NBA.
Jeez, 17 years, 17 NBA seasons, 2003 NBA draft.
And he's still playing.
That would be dope to see him and his kid.
He's still playing incredible.
Yeah, man.
Like,
but anyway, it's been cool to watch the ESPN documentary. Even if you're not a basketball fan, it's just an incredible story of a group of athletes and so many different characters, man. I mean, you got Dennis Rodman. I mean, just an electric personality, just so eccentric and incredible, and his story is crazy. And Pippen and Kukoc and Longley and Jordan, and then Phil Jackson, how he brought all these these different kinds of people together, and just it was the last dance. I mean, Phil Jackson was literally told, "You will not be the coach next year. I don't care if you win a championship, you will not be back." Can you imagine?
Yeah.
This is a dude that won 5 championships in like 6 or 7 years.
Right.
And he was like, "Yeah, you're not coming back. I don't care if you win it, you're not coming back."
Right.
And so it's the story. So Bree's not a basketball fan at all. She's a big football fan, but she doesn't know much about basketball at all. And she sat down and watched it with me and was like super into it.
Right.
Super into it. So it's really well made, really cool. Sundays.
Cool.
Let's plug it. Sundays, starting at 7 p.m. on ESPN.
The Ocho.
But yeah, man, very cool. Well, you sent me a list of some talking points. Hold on, one stuck out to me. What was it? Let me see this.
Well, while you...
let's keep it in the entertainment district. I know what it is. Are you ready?
Okay.
Dude, how about Universal Cinema? Universal Studios, their production house,
And
saying
Regal.
That they will no longer be giving their movies. Dude, it's just...
So how you feel about that?
It's...
What do you think?
So let's talk about what it is.
Is there someone right and wrong?
So it's AMC, right? That's the article I read last night.
AMC and Regal Cinemas. They
Well,
both.
AMC had the big statement.
Yeah, but Regal
on
also,
one
like,
second.
either last night or this morning, Regal also said they're taking the same stance.
Did they really?
Yeah.
All right, let's see if I can find it here. Dude, because I'm telling you, when you look at the numbers, because, dude, then Universal came out and hold on, dude, I gotta pull this up. Okay, anyway, Universal decided to release Trolls World Tour on video on demand, VOD, due to the pandemic, due to the theaters being closed and the stay-at-home orders and all that stuff. The theater companies got really, really upset about it.
Right.
And decided that they will no longer be playing any films from that production house, from that studio.
Yeah. I got AMC's statement right here. You want me to read it?
Read it.
Yeah, so they after they announced that they're not going to play Universal stuff, their statement was, "This policy affects any and all Universal movies per se, and goes into effect today as our as our theaters reopen. It is not some hollow, ill-considered threat. Incidentally, this policy is not aimed solely at Universal, out of pique or to be punitive in any way. It also extends to any movie maker who unilaterally abandons current windowing practices, absent good faith negotiations between us." So, and they go on and on, basically saying you guys, you screwed us in a time of great need. You knew we were struggling, and you put out your movies instead of waiting. Here's how I feel about that whole thing. This sounds like Blockbuster Video complaining about Netflix. If you are a movie theater and you don't understand that your business has been in front of the barrel of a gun for quite some time, I don't know what to tell you, man.
Let me read AMC or I'm sorry, Universal's statement.
Yeah.
So AMC got butthurt and said, "You're no longer, since you wanted to release your video at home and not at the theater, it's so silly to me. Then you can't come to my birthday party. You're not my best friend anymore.
Right.
You can't come to my birthday party." So here's their statement to rebut it. Our goal in releasing Trolls World Tour on PVOD, video on demand at home, was to deliver entertainment to people who are sheltering at home, while movie theaters and other forms of outside entertainment are unavailable, a Universal spokesperson said.
Right.
Based on the enthusiastic response to the film, we believe we made the right move. In fact, given the choice of not releasing Trolls World Tour, which would not only have prevented consumers from experiencing the movie, but also negatively impacted our partners and employees, the decision was clear. Check this out. Our desire has always been to efficiently deliver entertainment to as wide an audience as possible. We absolutely believe in the theatrical experience and have made no statement to the contrary, the studio said.
Right.
As we stated earlier, going forward, we expect to release future films directly to theaters, as well as on video on demand, when that distribution outlet makes sense.
Right.
We look forward to having additional private conversations. You know what I mean? They're like, it's just so funny.
Well, and it's a very diplomatic way to put it, because they could have said, "We've proven we don't need you, and we see your threat, and we'll also let you know that we're not going to bother giving you our movies anymore."
Dude, they made 8 times the revenue in, it was 2 or 3 weeks, than the original Trolls movie theatrically did in 2 to 3 months.
Yeah, and I forgot. Let me pull it up.
Now here's the thing with that. There's a caveat with that. More people are watching more movies now because it's one of the few things you can do. So those numbers might be a little bigger than what they would have been. It would have been interesting to see if a movie just like if COVID wasn't happening and the world was the way we knew it before.
Right.
It would be very interesting to see a movie studio say, "Hey, this new Star Wars movie that's coming out, it's not coming to theaters. It's going directly on Disney Plus."
I mean, they did it with The Irishman, but we didn't. I don't remember seeing any numbers as far as how many people viewed it and stuff like that.
Well, and here's the thing: we bought Trolls World Tour, so it was video on demand. You had to purchase it, and it was a flat $20. You know what I mean? So it was cheaper than going to the movie out. You know what I mean? And we're at home. I mean, dude, everybody's been watching movies on their couch forever now, but it's just very interesting, dude. Times are a-changing. And it's funny, I got like a small tear in my eye. My wife was laughing because as I was reading that statement last night, because we were discussing it, and I was like, I really don't want to see the theaters go. Because for me, I adore going to the cinema, dude. I adore going to see movies. I think going to see a film at the theater is it's the way to see movies, like for me, you know what I mean? And it would be terrible if it were to go away. It's not going away, at least I don't think anytime soon, but it's crazy to start seeing it. It's like, you know, there's always one card that starts to fall that starts the chain reaction, man.
Yeah, I could see it going away pretty soon, actually. And I think this whole pandemic is going to change a lot of things. We talked about it before. People are going to realize that they could have done a lot of their work from home, and they could have done a lot of things on their own that they didn't think. I think a lot of retailers are going to feel it once this pandemic clears up and people can go back to stores. People are going to realize, wait a minute, I've been shopping online. I am used to that now. I realize the convenience, and I'm not going back to the stores as much as I used to. I know I've heard quite a few adults say that they didn't realize how easy it was to order their groceries online and just go pick it up without walking in the store. And, you know, places like Walmart, they really, really rely on you walking in there. That's why they put the milk in the very back. They want you to walk past other things.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. We did that for the first time. We did the Walmart pickup. We figured, you know what, let's try it out. Very smooth process over here at Lynn Haven. We showed up, got in one of the numbered spots. There was only one left. It was pretty packed. But we got in spot number 10, and there was a little placard there that had a phone number. You called the phone number, said, hey, tell them your last name. And they said, all right, thanks. We'll be out in a minute. I was like, all right. Guy came out and was like, confirming your last name? And I was like, yeah, this is us. Okay, great. I think we waited 20, 25 minutes. We did sit there for 20 to 25 minutes, but rough. They eventually brought it out and loaded it up in our trunk. I didn't even have to unbuckle my seatbelt, and we drove away.
Good.
So we just jammed to some music, you know, me, Bree, and Vic. Yeah. So but right, here's the thing. I don't think the retail experience is going to go away. I think what's going to happen will be there will be less people doing it.
Well, I think for sure.
You know what I mean?
I think malls are a dying thing. They've been dying for the longest. We're changing, man. I think today's consumer is a lot smarter than they've ever been. They know what they want. They know the value of goods. They're very familiar when they walk into a store with the different brands and stuff like that. And marketing's got to change, dude. This whole making you walk past a bunch of things, like, it's a time waster that you can avoid pretty easily if you're just the least bit savvy. And people are getting savvier every day. So I don't know. I think there's always going to be a need for brick and mortar. There always is. But as much as they used to, where you have these huge shopping malls and you spent the whole day there, that's over. I think that's over right now.
Yeah.
The days of we're going to spend. I mean, I remember in middle school and high school where it was a thing where this weekend we're going to the mall and we're just going to walk like for almost the whole day. And that's just what we're going to do. That's over.
It was dope.
I don't think that exists anymore because there's nothing to do there. Anything you could want, you already ordered. And there's a way better selection out there, especially for clothes.
I'll tell you who's gonna keep the malls in businesses are husbands and boyfriends that wait till December 24th to get Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
That's what the mall is gonna be there for. They're gonna be open like 3 times a year. Well, and it's gonna be a day before a big holiday, Mother's Day.
Yeah.
at Christmas. Maybe two.
It has its things because even though you can, like, for example, like sneakers and things like that, I'd like to try on and be sure of. That's always going to be a brick and mortar thing. Even though they're getting better, dude, because if you get some shoes off of Foot Locker, you try them on, you could they usually send you a return shipping label. You put them right back on your front door, or you hand it down to the post office, and they'll return it for you and just say, hey, this didn't fit me. So they're getting there. They're getting quicker.
Yeah, to me, that's the thing. It needs to be fast, and it'll never be as fast as being at a shoe shop going, it's a little too tight. Let me get the next size up.
Yeah, and those
and
things.
Go get it and you put
like
it on, and then you leave with your shoes and mission accomplished.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, to close out
I think the landscape is changing for sure.
Yeah,
it's for sure, especially dude, in the entertainment world. It's been changing.
Did you see
the whole retail space? I don't think that's going to be as impacted. I think you'll see a definite change, but I don't think it's going to be super impactful, man. I don't think so. People are going to go right back to it, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, maybe not right back to it, but you know what I mean. We'll see. Yeah, time will tell, dude.
Yeah.
Time will tell.
Did you see that the Oscars
movie theaters don't go under?
Did you see that the Oscars announced that starting 2021, movies that debut on streaming services like video on demand and any other streaming services, they will be officially eligible for all the Oscars, Best Picture, Best all of that.
Because it's a film, it's a movie. It was shot, real humans created it. Somebody directed it, somebody produced it, somebody freaking sat in a dark room for months on end editing and color grading. I absolutely, dude, that's fantastic.
Yeah, the timing of
that's
it is
great
just
news,
like a punch to the gut, though, because that news came out right after the whole Regal and AMC
whole
fight
Universal.
with Universal.
Yeah.
They're like, by the way, here's another reason they don't need you anymore. We're gonna give them awards, like.
Dude, so tell me about this Universal Audio, their new program, Luna. What is this about?
Oh, yeah, so they decided to, there's Pro Tools, there's Logic and GarageBand and stuff like that. So they decided they've been making hardware and plugins for a while, and they just decided to make their own DAW, their digital audio workstation, kind of like NLEs, like nonlinear editors for video, audios, DAWs. And it's getting good reviews, man. It's supposed to be incredibly optimized. They pushed it out early.
Luna.
And they told people, they're like, listen, we were supposed to release this months from now. But kind of as a good faith, and you could take it as a PR scheme or whatever, but this is what they said. They said, kind of a good faith considering people are at home. We're going to put it out early as long as you guys understand that this is kind of like a beta alpha type of thing. And people have used it. They get it for free if you have their hardware. And people love it. People, the whole thing that they brag on is that they claim to be zero latency when you're using plugins or when you're recording audio. And as you probably experienced
before, you might be able to do that in real time.
That's the thing. They brag on that you can do it real time. So as you have heard before, because it's happened, is when you load up a lot of plugins in Pro Tools, your computer starts to chug and you'll hear your voice like a second or two after you speak on your microphone. So what Universal Audio has done is they're creating these no latency plugins and this new DAW where they say throw everything you can at it. It's not going to lag at all. You're going to get zero latency. And that's huge, especially when you're playing instruments. You're playing the guitar and stuff like that. Like you can't afford to be a millisecond off. Like you can't. So it's huge, and that just
same thing. I mean, oh yeah, I was agreeing with you, dude. As a drummer, dude, that's insane.
Yeah, no. So I saw that, and I'm just like, I'm excited because I like audio and I like video, but I kind of felt a little bad because I'm like, man, like video's falling behind. Like there's got to be other people innovating. Like it maybe I'm just not aware. Maybe we're not aware, but I don't see any innovation, any new stuff as far as just. It's kind of like it's been the same.
I was thinking about it. Yeah, we're gonna get real nerdy here for a minute. I mean, I feel like we've already jumped into that
that's
with
fine.
this whole new, and that's okay. So, in terms of codecs, I think for me, that's the future of video. I think, H.265. It's this newer codec. More information, smaller file sizes. You know what I mean? Like to me, that's just where it's going in terms of the post-production side. Working with now, 4K and up. You got 8K stuff coming in down the pipe now.
Right.
These massive raw files, raw video file. Log profile, and now we've got HDR and hybrid, log gamma files. So I think. Where I'd like to see some improvements is in the codecs. I want to be able to record these super high bit rate videos and I don't want my SD card to explode, and I don't want to be able to just record 2 minutes of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I want to put it in my computer, and I want to scream. I want to scrub through it. You know what I mean? I'm ready for some advancements like that where you don't. But here's the thing: you got to spend 50, 60 grand if you want to see that today.
Well,
You know
and
what
they're
I mean?
always going to push it. We talked about it with video games. As technology improves, they're always going to push it to the max. They're not going to go, halfway for the sake of a better experience. Everybody wants like
Experience,
like
yeah.
the PC guys called it bleeding edge. Like they always want the bleeding edge graphics, the bleeding edge performance, where you're like just screaming and you're posting your benchmarks. Like that's where you get really nerdy. When people go to Geekbench or whatever and they show their teraflops and their frames per second.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's well and
How many
great.
triangles?
Yeah, I'm like, and I seen this meme where it's like, it showed like that fat person that's like sitting there with their t-shirt kind of rolled up and they're sitting at their computer. Like South Park even did a little meme about it.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
nerd,
Mhm.
and they were like showing the
Yeah.
guy, the nerd, laughing, and he's like, when my $30,000 PC performs better than a $400 console. It's like, yeah, like you don't,
Yeah, it's silly.
you don't get
dude.
like how silly you sound right now. Like look how much you had to invest, and that's just money.
Yeah.
We were talking about the other day about
Yeah.
the time you got to invest in debugging your computer and fixing stuff and doing patches and optimization and stuff. It's like, yeah, that's well and good, but even going
And I
back
think
to
that's
the
one of
camera
the-
thing, the technology is going to improve, and we're just going to push it further. So there's always going to be like a premium to have the best experience.
Yeah, it sucks, man. And I think that's why we went Mac. We could have built some pretty wicked PCs to edit on,
I was
but
close
it's like,
to doing it.
yeah, I know you were. I think I was just like, look, dude, for what we want to do, at least in the short term, 5 years, the projects we want to accomplish, we want to be able to produce, I think we could do it on a Mac. I just wanted to be easy. I wanted to plug and play. I wanted Final Cut so freaking optimized for Mac.
Yeah.
It's been great, but we'll see. We'll see, man.
Yeah. We will. What else did I have?
But
on
anyway,
here?
dude, I don't know. You sent me a bunch of other stuff.
We
talk
talked
forever,
about
but-
theaters. What else? Oh, one thing that's huge that Jack probably talked about it. May 27th, we're going back to space, baby.
Going back to space, dude. I had my NASA shirt on yesterday. I was very stoked.
I think
Using
it's crazy.
a SpaceX rocket to send 2 astronauts to the International Space Station.
I think it's awesome that it's Elon Musk and SpaceX. They're making that happen, man. Like that's crazy. Like it's inspiring.
Dude, Elon, it is inspiring. I always do. That's one thing. I was really big into space as a kid, and I was really big into like heroes like Michael Jordan. And I always just thought space, man, was just so cool. And I think that's why I love sci-fi movies. They're like my favorite kinds of movies.
Right.
So it is cool to see that, man, because it's been pretty dormant, at least on the the government side,
Right.
the federal side. But Elon's been doing his thing, and among the Virgin guy, Virgin Mobile guy. I mean, there's been some private entities doing some stuff, but it's really cool to see it coming back into the light a little bit, man. Elon's been getting kind of into some trouble. I'm interested. I got to watch Jack's podcast because he's been tweeting, to reopen the country, and he's tired of California being locked down and all this. And it's interesting to see this parody on the internet, man. It's like I'm starting to see a lot of my social media quote unquote friends start to crack. They're starting to crack a little bit. They're starting to get a little twitchy. Starting to get a little twitchy, man. And it's funny to see the different personalities and a lot of my former friends that I have worked with or have known for a long time. It's just interesting to sit back and watch everybody slowly start to crack.
It's been a long time, and we kind of knew this was gonna happen. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. There's no solid goal.
Dude, we just had the biggest jump in confirmed cases in Virginia in one day. It was like 900. We're still on the up. We're still heading up the hill.
Yeah.
I try not to look at it too much because, to be completely honest with you, dude, it kind of depresses me. It kind of depresses me. So.
Yeah, I mean, I still keep up with it through work and stuff like that, and I still watch what the governor's saying. But lately, it's they're actually up until maybe like yesterday, they were pretty much saying June 10th is the date that they were looking at. But as of today, the kind of the feeling that's out there is that he may back down off that June 10th date and open sooner, mainly because of the pressure he's getting from the public. We'll see. We'll
Which
see
is
what that
crazy,
looks like.
dude.
It's tough, man.
Dude,
It's
if
tough.
you were prescribed, if you were prescribed antibiotics for 10 days and you started taking them and you felt 100% better 3-4 days in, and you stopped taking your antibiotics, man, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we see. We
You
talked.
got to finish the bottle, dude.
Well, we talked about it before, but with this case, there is no finishing the bottle. There is no scenario where we open back up and no one's getting the virus, and
It is true.
There's no scenario that doesn't exist.
Well, the scenario that the end game, I think, is what it's been stated before. They need to see 2 consecutive weeks
with the numbers dropping.
With the numbers dropping.
Yeah.
So there is a goal. There is a goal, dude. Don't make it seem like there's, you know what I mean.
Well, the thing is,
of course, it's never going away. Of course,
but that's not going to be across all 50 states. You know what I mean? Like at some point, the president is going to be left in a situation
that's why
to have to open this up with people still being.
Well,
sick
the president, I think, has done exactly what he should have done. He gives it to the local governments.
Mm-hmm.
He gives it to the freaking governors, and that's how this country should be run, dude. Because every state is different.
Yeah.
And especially with this virus, every state has been affected differently. So it is not a one size fit all. So I do not envy our politicians. Usually I make fun of them. I don't envy them at this point.
Right.
It's got to suck. It's definitely got to suck. They got some hard decisions to make in the next month. And I'm glad it's not falling all on our president. You know what I mean? But what are you going to do, dude? There is going to come a time but that time we have to do our best to get to that point where we're trending down for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And we can affect that. We can affect it. The collective can affect that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, they're starting to open.
So just hang in there, people. I know, dude. This shit sucks, dude. I know it sucks for sure.
Yeah,
it's fucking terrible, dude. I mean, my wife was furloughed. I mean, trust me, it sucks. But we just got to do everything we can to get through this thing, and we got to get to that point where we're flattening it to the point where we're seeing. So I don't know. I'm speaking out of my ass right now.
You seen they're talking about
the whole thing.
They're talking about a second wave of paychecks. I haven't seen the first.
I haven't seen, dude. Thank you. I haven't seen the first either.
I haven't seen the first. I'm like, it'd be nice. And you know what? I mean, I count myself incredibly fortunate. You know my situation. I mean, we're not in a position where we necessarily need it. And I say need in the literal sense of the word. I'm not rolling in dough to where I could throw away $2,000. But
no.
You know, in the literal sense, do I need it? No. But it'd be very nice. There's a baby coming along, and there's going to be less income very soon because, you know, Joyce is going to take time off, significant amount of time off.
Yeah.
And it's hard to go, from
Breeze,
2 paychecks to 1 overnight, and that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, that's what happened to us, man. And you know, I was only part-time at the aquarium, you know, doing video content for them. So it was like all of a sudden it got fucking real quick. But you know, thankfully we do have programs in this country to help people in times of need, such as unemployment.
Yeah, you need that.
So
and that's not a favor. That's not a favor to anybody.
It's not a favor.
You pay for that.
It's not a favor.
That gets taken out of your check.
And as soon as she can get off it and she's back to work, it's done. You know what I mean? And it's nice to see firsthand a government program like that work in our favor, because you know, I think we're good people. I think we're hardworking people.
Yeah.
And you know, Bree didn't ask for that shit, so
I got family.
There we go.
I got family in Florida that work for Disney, and they said that when Disney furloughed their employees, they paid them. I want to say it was 60 days, 60 or 90.
Wow.
They paid them that much, and they also.
Well, Mickey's got some deep pockets, dude. Mickey's got some deep pockets.
Deep, yeah, but they're talking about staying closed like the rest of the year, no matter what. And I don't know how many millions they lose a day every time they're closed. So yeah, I mean,
That's insane.
they got deep pockets, but eventually the well goes dry.
They ain't that deep.
Yeah, not everybody can afford it. But what's interesting about them is supposedly they sent out a memo to the employees, and they'll correct me if I'm wrong, but if I remember how they explained it was, Disney said, here's X amount of money you're going to get for X amount of time, and also when that money runs out, we've already started the unemployment process for you guys. You won't have to do anything. You should see those checks be deposited kind of around the time that your Disney money runs out. So they went out their way to take care of their people.
I'll tell you, man, we watched, there's a Disney Plus show called A Day at Disney.
I haven't seen it yet. I got it on the queue.
Dude, A Day at Disney is fantastic. You'll love it.
You been there?
A lot of people will love it. Yeah, I went to Disney World one time.
Okay.
I've been to Disneyland, I think once or twice, and I've been to Disney World one time. Very cool. Loved it. It's awesome, dude. But this show is off the freaking hook, dude. It chronicles all of these employees that do a myriad of different things at the Disney company. I mean, they follow a Sports Center anchor. They follow a character designer for, animation. They do a guy that's a scuba diver that does maintenance on the freaking water rides. It's just incredible. But dude, I'm watching the story of this young Hispanic guy. Young, I mean, he's our age. He's like mid-30s. But he grew up in an incredibly impoverished area, and it was a real, true rags to riches story, man. I mean, about this dude he loved cartoons and he loved Mickey Mouse, and he told his mom when he was a kid, I'm gonna work for Mickey Mouse one day.
Right.
And his mom was like, she like literally had to leave the kids and with family and go to America and start a life there and get that nest started, and then brought him over, and he's now like a lead character designer at Disney, and just watching his story was just incredible. It's just so cool. So it doesn't surprise me about that company and how they treat their employees.
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me.
No, it's crazy. It's good to see that stuff. I didn't expect that, honestly. I knew they were a good company, but I didn't expect that level of reaching out. You said Disney Plus, the Star Wars Day is coming up.
Yes, very excited. I cannot wait to watch the Mandalorian making of, dude. That's going to be killer.
Did you see that they're also going to release on Disney Plus the original version of the original trilogy? The original without the goofy CGI and the changes?
So, Tony, that was a April Fool's joke.
Was it serious? Because I thought it was serious.
No, it was not serious.
They're not going to release the original?
It was not
so
serious.
I got to watch it on my DVD still? That's fine.
Yeah, no.
But they should have done that.
It'll never be that way. It'll never be that way.
Why never?
Because Lucas had it in the contracts.
They never want to show that, huh? That's terrible.
The only way to do that is to have them, either on Laserdisc or the old VHS copies or whatever.
Well, thank goodness.
Because, dude, even the theatrical release to the first home, yeah, it's crazy, dude. It's crazy. But yeah, I remember reading that and I was like, oh, dude, this is big. And no, it was an April Fool's joke. It was unfortunate.
That's messed up it's not messed up, but they should, because I saw a few April Fool's jokes like up until like a week or two ago.
They're getting better. They're getting better every freaking year, man.
Well, the thing is, they didn't want to do it on April Fool's because that was like the middle of the pandemic explosion. So they really pushed them back. But then it's like now they just trickle them in randomly, and it's like you got to pay attention to kind of catch them or whatever.
You guys suck. Yeah, for sure. Well, and here's the thing. You need to do your research, people.
Yeah.
You've got all the time in your hands now. You don't believe everything you read on the internet. Please, for the love of God, don't believe everything you read on the internet. The first thing I see when I see somebody share a freaking clickbaity article with a ridiculous title is I see where it came from.
Yeah.
Is this a reputable website? Is this something that I recognize even?
We'll see if two three other people are saying the same thing also.
Come on.
You can't just go like...
And they're saying it and they're spinning it a different way. So it's just be smart, man. Be smart.
I saw today that people are still saying that Bill Gates and Melinda Gates invented the coronavirus and they have the Center for Depopulation. I'm like, you guys...
Dude, my boy Chris D'Elia, one of my favorite stand-up comedians, on his podcast recently was just debunking stuff and just making fun of people that think that Hollywood and these big celebrities and have you heard of Pizzagate? Do you know of this term, Pizzagate?
I know it. It's very scary stuff when you go down that rabbit hole. Like as far as what they say, the allegations.
Come on, man. You think Hillary Clinton's down in some DC pizza party? Anyway.
I didn't say whether I believe it or not. What Pizzagate is a horrifying allegation.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Here's
the whole pedophilia and the
in
secret
today's
room
world,
under a pizza place.
if any of that crap was true, dude, in this day and age with all the whistleblowers and leaks and social media and internet keyboard warriors and video proof and all, dude, it would be out there. I'm telling you, people love drama, dude. I'm not just.
I don't know. I'm not saying I believe it, but at the same
time, I want to believe in a lot of conspiracy theories. I want to believe in a lot of stuff because it's fun. It's way more exciting than real life, and sometimes there's some terrible shit that happens for sure.
I'll put it this way: you got to watch House of Cards. I don't know if you ever seen that, but I think that is especially like the first 2-3 seasons of House of Cards. I think that's very close to reality. I think the way they paint the government behind the scenes and the cutthroat and they even get people killed, I think that stuff happens. I think that does happen.
And you know, that's the beautiful thing about this country, man. You can think whatever you want. It's great. You know, I think there was a lot more to the towers falling in New York City on the September 11th. I think there's a lot more to that story that we don't know. I'd like to think, you know what I mean, that we don't know everything, and we don't know everything. But I just feel like in this day and age, you know, it'd be so hard to cover up some stuff of that nature. But
yeah.
But anyway, we should do a conspiracy theory episode next week, dude. Like our favorite kind of either out there conspiracy theories, or we should talk about aliens, or we should, you know what I mean? We should do that episode next week. That'd be fun.
When they were threatening to Naruto run into Area 51 to show me them aliens.
Dude, the definition of first to go. Those kind of people right there. They are the first to go.
Well, they let them go. They let them know. It's like, you can try. You will try.
Oh, yeah, no. The Air Force was like, you will try. We have light automatic machine guns. You will try. You can storm our fucking base if you want to.
We'll show you the alien weaponry we have.
Oh, man. Dude, Bob Lazar. You got to watch this. Have you ever looked into Bob Lazar?
No.
This guy was he worked at a subsection in Nevada at Area 51 for like 2.5 years, and he was brought in off the street. He's this Caltech guy, or he's either Caltech, or he's got degrees from like 4 different universities or something like that. Anyway, but it's his experiences at Area 51 and what he was tasked to work on and what he saw. It's fascinating. There's a documentary on it on Netflix right now. It's called like Bob Lazar and UFOs and aerial phenomena and Area 51 or something like that. But Bob Lazar, gotta watch it, dude. I'd love to talk about it next week. I'm a big alien fan.
I saw one thing that you said that I also watched that now that you mentioned it, you reminded me. I started seeing Chernobyl. I saw the first 3 episodes.
Oh wow,
yeah.
It's another wonderful show.
Did you finish it?
It's a good show. No, I got to episode 4 because we were watching it out south of Chicago when we were out. Yeah, I know, right? We do need to go back and finish it. But we were visiting Ben out in Illinois, and he introduced us to the show, and we started watching it halfway through our trip, and then we stopped at like episode 4. And, you know, we just never finished it. I don't finish anything, dude. I don't finish any TV show ever. 5 episodes, I'm going to 3, and I'm out. That's it. But no, I'm just joking. What I remember watching was incredible.
It is incredible.
Very, very good.
I want to buy it. I want to get that miniseries because I thought it was incredibly well done.
Dude, it looked like the 80s. Well, it's just visually, dude, it was incredible.
It's crazy to think that happened within our lifetime. Like, we were a year old.
Yeah, those were real people, man.
And yeah, like, and of course there's a lot of drama because we don't know what happened behind the scenes and stuff. So there's a lot of dramatization, but the facts that they base their story on is just incredible to think that was burning as long as it was burning. Did you know that was still like they were still dealing with that as recent as 2017?
Oh yeah, dude! They just replaced the covering there
that they call it.
The sarcophagus, the encapsulation.
It's nuts.
Yeah,
it's nuts. And to think that they were lying
for
that long. Well, there goes your conspiracy theory right there. They were lying to the whole world, and they had people believing them for quite a while.
They were. Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
They're destroying the planet. They say it's the most dangerous spot on the planet right now. They call it like the elephant's foot, where there's like a chunk of graphite that's the most radioactive spot on the entire planet. Still over there in Chernobyl.
I remember because I watched those 3 episodes and then I was like, going down the YouTube rabbit hole and just watching videos on Pripyat in that area in Ukraine and all of that and the site and people. These freaking idiots going there for their YouTube channels. Yeah, we're here. We're going to check it out. This is where it happened, man. They got their GoPro. I'm like, you are the first to go. Yeah. My goodness, dude.
I didn't know that radiation does that.
You ain't getting me out there.
Man. Jonesy told me, he was like, you could take a tour over there. I was like, yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good.
I'm good. No,
like the amount of radiation they said. I mean, in this show, I don't know how accurate it was as far as that goes, but remember, they were saying that they expected that to last hundreds, if not 1,000 years. As far as the fallout, the radiation exposure, just killing people,
the lifetime of it, yeah,
they were like, it'll cut your life in half. It'll if you're there and remember there was one part where they broke it down, like if you go to this spot, you'll die within days. If you go to this spot, you'll die in hours. It's like, wow, like it's the amount of radiation, like, and I didn't know radiation does that to you.
I need to go back and rewatch that show, man. That was so good.
It's heavy, but it kept me.
I'll go back and rewatch it, and then I'll finish it. because man, it was really good. I do remember just loving it.
It was weird seeing dude from what was that, Mr. Deeds? Is the guy?
Yeah, yeah. I made that comment to Ben while we were watching this. I want to call it a film because it's absolutely as beautiful as a film.
Yeah.
But as we were watching the show, yeah, I remember seeing him.
It's very well. Now that you said that, like, I never stopped to think about, like, just now, like, all that smoke, the helicopters, all of that look real. Like, none of it feels
CG
fake.
is getting incredible. The practical effects combined with CG, you know, some of the better directors and some of the better production houses, it's unbelievable what you can do.
1917 proved that.
Let's just keep going. Yeah, 1917 was unbelievable. Dude, you know what movie just pissed me off because it sucked? And I wanted it to be amazing, and I just watched it recently, was the sequel to Prometheus, Alien Covenant.
Oh, I have that movie. It's still in the wrapper. Should I leave it in the wrapper?
Leave it in the wrapper, dude. Leave it in the wrapper. And dude, I'm a huge Ridley Scott as a writer-director combo fan. Huge. And dude, I'm a huge Alien fan, the franchise as a whole.
Right.
Fucking love that series. It sucked. It was so bad. And it was interesting because it was Ridley Scott. But what stood out to me the most, and there are no spoilers here, but it's a sequel to Prometheus, which is a prequel to Alien, right?
So you will see aliens.
I liked Prometheus. Yes, I liked Prometheus because it felt different. It was Ridley Scott's return to science fiction after a long, long time, and it was beautifully shot, and it was just gorgeous, and it added to the mythology of that franchise, and it was different. It wasn't great, but it was. I enjoyed it a lot.
Right.
And this was a sequel to that movie, and you could tell the studio was like, we need more aliens. You got to put the aliens back in there. You can't be trying to tell a deep story. We need like gore. We need a shower scene. We need CG aliens running up walls. We need people shooting guns at them. And I was like, dude, it just felt so forced, and it was terrible, man. I didn't like it at all.
Wasn't that the criticism about Prometheus, though, with, like, you don't see the aliens? Because that was really, to be honest, that wasn't, like, I didn't like Prometheus too much. It wasn't trash, in my opinion. I just didn't like it too much. And part of the reason that this is just one of my flaws or whatever, it's just my own personal taste. I need my movies to have a little more unfolding. I don't need a lot of pew pew and bang bang the whole movie, but I like there to be a lot more dialogue and story progression. And I remember Prometheus being a lot of like lingering scenes, like walking through hallways and kind of discovering things, and that to me doesn't really resonate with me. I get it, like if you're immersed in that world, it's cool if you can get lost in it and feel like part of it. For me, it's hard for me to get into movies like that.
Right, and that's Ridley Scott's. That's his technique. Like that's what he does.
Yeah.
It's a slow freaking boil.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's not like you just said. It's not for everybody.
Because remember, I said
I
said
enjoy
the same
that
thing
kind of
about
stuff.
1917. Like I don't think it's a bad movie at all. But when I sit it next to Saving Private Ryan, I'm like, Saving Private Ryan is still the standard.
Such different movies. You know what I mean?
Well,
when you look at them side by side,
pacing
for sure.
wise for sure, and the way they were shot. I told you before, 1917, the way it was shot to me was incredible.
To me, the difference between excuse me, COVID, between those two movies is Spielberg. That was a Spielbergian movie. It was a big adventure that took place over many days and many weeks and many locations, and it followed a big group of people, and they had this big mission, and it was in the backdrop of a very, very brutal war in World War II, you know, and all that. And 1917 was a very stark contrast to that. It was a story. It was a much smaller story, on a much smaller scale, a more intimate story between these two dudes, in you know, in a couple hours in their life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think comparing them is difficult. They're both war movies for sure. And I think they're both great in their own ways. Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously, Saving Private Ryan, arguably the best war movie ever made.
But it's gonna be, those are the only two that you're really gonna compare, because they're very close in terms of quality. Like they're very, very good. They tell the story incredibly well. Because it's not like comparing 1917 to Top Gun. Like you just can't do that.
But sure.
They're similar, you know, in the time setting and kind of like, you know, the story they were trying to tell. But I don't know, for me, maybe, you know, what I like about Private Ryan and maybe stories with a little more characters than just the two is you kind of get a bigger chance of seeing yourself in the personalities of other people. Where, you know...
Yeah, there's a greater chance.
I find it, I could be immersed more in a movie like that, even though there's movies like I Am Legend, which is like top 5 movie for me, and Castaway, where there's like very few cast members in those movies, and I love them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no. So going back to the whole Prometheus Part 2 or whatever, the aliens thing, yeah, it's for me, it's hard to get wrapped up in that world, and that's why I had a little bit of trouble with it. But that's a shame that Part 2 is not too good.
No, it wasn't good, man. And to wrap it all the way around, we started talking about how good Chernobyl looked.
Yes.
And how immersive it was because it was so realized and very realistic.
Right.
The part that was terrible about Alien Covenant, and which was really disappointing for Ridley Scott because he's such a great director, and he's, dude, this is Blade Runner, this is Alien, this is Gladiator, he's an incredible director.
Gladiator's crazy.
Incredible writer. So he's proven that he can do it. You could just tell they were on a shoestring budget. You could tell that the studio was heavily involved in the decision making for Alien Covenant.
Oh wow!
And it just, dude, the CGI looked terrible. The aliens, and here's the thing: in the Alien movies, it was all, for the most part,
the suits.
All done practically. It was dudes in suits.
Yeah.
And it was you didn't get many glimpses of them, and there was a lot of haze and a lot of fog. It was way scarier that way because your mind kind of filled in those blanks. In this movie, they're just running around, dude, and it's and the CG is not that good. And it just sucked. Freaking sucked.
So who's a better?
I was so upset.
Who's a better alien? Because my answer to me is very obvious, but it might not be to you. Who's a better alien, Predator or the Xenomorph?
Well, you gotta clarify this question.
In terms of design, not who would fight in a battle. Who's the better? Start with design. Like, who's a better designed creature?
In terms of
artistic originality, yeah, like.
I think the Alien and the world of Alien, those original H.R. Geiger,
concept.
What's it called? Yeah, concept art. Thank you. I think that look and the style of Alien, I think is hands down way better than Predator. To me, Predator seems cheesy and outdated.
Oh man,
in terms of design, in terms of the monster, that to me looks like an actual dude in a suit with the silly face and the big ass helmet. And I'm like,
I think Predator's incredible. I think that thing looks.
Dude,
awesome.
have you seen the Queen? Have you seen the Queen Alien and James Cameron Aliens with Sigourney Weaver? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. She makes light.
She
makes light work of her with a forklift.
Yeah, she does. I'll tell you what. Well, they're animals, and that's another thing. Now we're getting real nerdy here. The Predator was a apex predator.
Yeah.
Very smart, very advanced, had a lot of technology, and the alien was an animal.
Yeah.
It's a freaking bug. You know what I mean? So again, two different worlds, but in terms of just, I think stylistically and scary, I mean, they're both scary, but like, I just think the alien, there's just something about it, man. There's something about, being chased by an alien, man, or like an animal like that, dude. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I like the design of Predator way better. I think it's a cooler character. Movies wise, I think the first one is the only one that really matters to me. I haven't seen the other ones in a very long time, but I feel like they were forgettable for a reason. I don't remember them being that great as a kid. I remember a little more of Aliens than I do of Predator, but for sure the first Predator to me is like classic.
Yeah, it's the very first Predator movie was like, it was so interesting. When I first saw it, it just seemed like, and for real, the first half of the movie was like, oh, we're just going to have another romp in the jungle with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I think that was what was brilliant about that movie, because you kind of got lost in that. You know what I mean? You got Jesse Ventura and you got Apollo Creed up in there, and,
Chubbs.
And you got this ragtag, Chubbs.
It's all in his.
Yeah, it's all in his, baby. Just easing attention. But yeah, you get like halfway through the movie and you're like, okay, we're just on a mercenary mission with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he's jacked and he's got a minigun, and Jesse Ventura's wisecracking, and this is great. And then the Predator shows up, and it is a great movie. The very first Predator movie was fantastic. The first Alien movie was a masterpiece in terms of, for its time. I mean, this was the 70s, dude, in terms of just set production value and the designs and making it look gritty and real and lived in, and space was just nothing. Nobody had ever seen that before, which was really cool. But
I think the second one aged
know.
better than the first one.
Yeah, the second Alien movie, you're talking about Aliens?
Yeah, I had a hard time watching the first one. I sat the family down because I'm like, you guys got to watch this movie. And watching it, I was like, man, this is it's just, standards just change, man. And it doesn't take away from it being
It's old
great
school
for its
sci-fi,
time.
man. It's yeah, it's old school, dude.
Yeah,
it's
they did the
the
best they
attention
could.
spans these days aren't as long, man.
Yeah, that one demands.
I could crack a joke, but
Nah, that one does demand quite a bit of. You have to get lost. If you can get lost in it, you'll love it. But if you can't, it's a tough.
and
movie
I
to
did,
watch.
man. I'm a huge fan. Yeah, Aliens was it was more an action movie than a horror movie. The very first Alien movie was more a horror movie than an action movie. So again, two different movies.
It's tough to hit that balance.
But,
I don't know what kind of movie I would do for
it
sure
is.
if I was gonna do a movie. Some kind of I don't know. I like emotion in my movie.
We do something. I feel like you and I would do something like Jordan Peele movies, man, like a Get Out or something.
Yeah.
Something that has a little bit of everything in it. You know what I mean? It's got a little humor. It's got a lot of horror. It's got a little suspense, a lot of drama.
Yeah, I like drama. If I was gonna do it, like that's more my personality as far as just something real emotional and like searching the mind.
Yeah.
To make an action movie, I don't know. I feel like I'd be kind of bored. I feel like it's kind of just running through the things again. I like stuff with just powerful dialogue.
I just want something new that makes you think, and that I like movies that stick with you, like long after you watch them. That's the kind of movies I like.
Yeah, the last one that made me feel that way, maybe The Joker was the one that I was just analyzing the most and constantly thinking like, what did this mean? What did that mean? But it's hard to find movies that really challenge you these days. And maybe I'm just not looking for them like movies like I used to. Like I haven't seen Parasite yet.
I heard that's incredible.
Yeah,
I heard that
it's
was
on
insanely
Hulu
good.
now, so there's really no reason not to watch it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I
Well,
don't know.
if you don't have a Hulu subscription, that'd be a reason.
Well, yeah,
But,
that too. But in this pandemic, if you don't have a Hulu subscription, what do you really have? What are we doing here, baby? Like, you ain't got Hulu.
Dude, there's got to be a list. There's got to be a list. Hold on one second. There's got to be a list of on-demand streaming services. Like what? There's so many now.
Oh yeah, no, but with their costs, like if you got the HBO Go, Hulu, you add the stars to it, Disney Plus, Netflix. Like we all were rebelling against the cost of cable, and we're paying probably more now in separate subscriptions.
No, we are. We are. There's a great video. I'll send you a link. These guys on YouTube, they're called Red Letter Media. These guys are hilarious. I found them from review. They're like they review movies and they do all kinds of skits and all kinds of goofy stuff. But they're movie review guys.
Right.
But anyway, dude, they did a spoof on how awesome it is now that we're cutting cable and we're getting whatever we want. But it's spoofing it because in reality, like you just said, in order to watch all the content you want, you're paying way more.
Yeah, no, and
because they're splicing it up now. They're like, oh, you want an a la carte? Good. Okay, good. Now we're just going to make a show that we're going to know you're going to want to watch, and it's on CBS Plus.
yeah,
Oh, you want it? It's on FX Plus. Now
Right.
it's on Disney Plus. Now I got HBO Go. Now I got Crunchyroll. Now I got
Crunchyroll.
It sucks, dude. Yeah, for real, dude. It sucks. It's like, oh, no. Now YouTube Original. Oh, now Apple's coming into the game. It's like, dude, screw this, man. Can we go back?
You just
Can we
gotta
go back? Can we go back?
If you can stay on top of your subscriptions, you can run the game pretty well. Like watch what you're gonna watch and cut it off. But if you're like most people that get the subscription, they forget to cancel them, and they forget like, hey, I haven't watched Netflix in 6 months. Go ahead and cancel that, man.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Like that's
Get it
what they
outta here.
want you
Get
to do.
outta
They want you to forget that
It's
$6 a month.
Exactly,
Like-
dude. It's only $10. It's only $10.
Yeah, man.
You get 8 screen. You're approaching $100, dude.
It's
I mean, that's
wild,
that's a
man.
cable bill.
It's wild.
That's a cable
We gotta
bill.
get up.
You cut the cable,
we gotta
but
get in on that.
you
like,
cut cable, but you're paying the same.
Gotta get you on the
motherfucker.
video production plan. Like $50 a month, baby. We'll make you a video. It's like, oh, you forgot to make your video. That's
Dude,
cool.
we got you.
We still getting your payment.
Yeah, that's funny.
There's gotta be a way to work. The
Oh,
game.
anyway, yeah, dude.
Well-
All right, man. Let's call it, dude. It's a great show, man. This was fun, dude. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, dude. All right, PUBG got a patch. It's time. It's time to go. It's time to get the hell out of here. Let's play some games, man. Let's go have some fun.
Yeah, I don't know about no PUBG. I don't-
No, we're not gonna play that. No.
PUBG is still a thing these days, huh? And they continue to break. Who makes it? Blue
Dude.
Point?
Blue Hole.
Okay, so Blue Hole.
What? Hey.
Blue Hole.
Why are you gonna name your company that?
Blue Hole continues their quest in destroying their one successful franchise.
Dude, there are 170 people that play it on console, and they continue to try to push people out the door. It's unbelievable.
Well, did they add bots because the population has decreased that much?
No, they added bots because they said that it'll be better for new players. I said, y'all ain't got no new players, man.
Yeah, no, you're making some dangerous assumptions, my friend.
You're making some dangerous assumptions, dude. Ain't nobody coming to this game. The people that are playing this game have been on the game for 3 years. There's no one new coming to your game. So yes, I think it's to fill out lobbies. But really, I've never had a problem finding a match in that game. They're always populated, so I don't get it. But that's here nor there, dude.
Did you see that Warzone or Call of Duty Modern Warfare is now up to, I think, almost 500 gigabytes after all the updates?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. It's almost my entire SSD on there.
Yeah, that's why you gotta have the 6 terabyte banger, the external.
Oh jeez, yeah. I don't know. You know me. I play like 2 or 3 games, so
you got plenty of space there.
But yeah, I got plenty. But anyway, yeah, let's go play something, dude. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in, man. It's always cool to see everybody watching. This is great, man, and we appreciate everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, man. I mean, one thing, and this is to throw it out to the people that do watch it, because every now and then people comment. Not that we have some huge audience, but people do comment. I wonder if people would prefer us to just throw the video up in terms of not a premiere and just throw it up to where you can just watch it whenever you want. Because that premiere, you got to sit there if you don't catch it in the very beginning, you have to sit through the whole episode. And if you're like 20 minutes late, people might just want to start it from the beginning.
I think we tried the premiere for a while. I think it's run its course. I think we just load them up, dude. It'll be usually Friday afternoon, evening time, or Friday night. Usually that's when it comes out, man.
Yeah, I think
I'll tell you, this is really cool. I had my mom in from California this week. Mm-hmm. We were taking care of some family business, and she spent the night last night, and she was hanging out on the back porch, and we were out there smoking and joking and having a good old time. And dude, she watches every show.
Does she?
And my brother Ben watches every show. And she's sitting there quoting stuff from last week, the week before. And she's like, I love when you were talking about this. And, just obscure things that were in the podcast. I was like, wow, Mom, you really
listen to the whole thing.
You watch this show. Yeah, and it's pretty impressive. It was cool to hear. But they love it. So shout out to Kay. Shout out to Ben. Thanks for watching. We love you guys, man.
Yeah, because if your family don't want to hear it,
yeah, no, they don't want to hear it, man.
If your family doesn't want to hear it, you might have a rough go.
You're doing something wrong.
The people you love don't even want to hear it. So we'll wrap it up, dude.
Right, man,
I think.
Yeah, man. I'm out of wine. I got to refill, baby. And this is a big glass, too. I'm out of wine. I'm out of wine.
I think real soon for the people that watch this. We've talked about it before. I think in the next couple of weeks, very, very soon, if not sooner, we'll start throwing this up on Spotify and stuff. That way people could get it that way.
Yeah.
Me personally, I'd rather consume podcasts audio only. Video's cool. I think it's important. But me as going to work and stuff and in the car, I like the audio. I like the option. Like I throw Spotify on and I listen to my podcast that way.
Yeah, man. We could definitely pursue that for sure. But yeah. All right, man.
All right, guys.
I'm Matt.
This is Tony.
Let's go. Yeah, and this is the Tsunami Podcast. We'll see you guys next week.
All right, guys.
Nice work, dude.
Yeah. Next time.
Have a good one, man.